We are back for another show of talking a little business with the Godfather of Sales Training. My name is Ed Fratz, and I really appreciate the time that you give me when you join, either on a live or on a replay. So today we got a lot. I got a lot of good stuff that's going to really affect some salespeople out there, and also business owners. Business owners, sometimes they don't have a sales team. The actual business owner is responsible for growing their business and actually getting out there and generating new clients, besides all the other things it takes to run a business. But the first thing, you're pretty happy about the Yankees because of CC Sabathia. Last night, he struck out his 3,000th strikeouts he has for a career. And what a moment. I got to see it on TV. It was pretty special. Even though he was away in Arizona, he had all his family and his friends. They were able to hug Dad. It was pretty cool. And those of you who don't watch baseball, to get 3,000 strikeouts is quite a feat. In the history of baseball, CC is the 16th pitcher that's done it. So it's not a very common feat. And especially for left-handers, he's only the third left-hander to do it, and it pretty much guarantees you a pass into the Hall of Fame. CC, there's only two that are not in the Hall of Fame, and that's Clemens, and that was because of his tie with steroids, and Kurt Schilling, and he eventually get in. His numbers keep going up. They'll vote him in probably next year or the following year. So there was a big moment for not just Yankee fans, but for baseball fans to see something that it might be the last one who does it for a very long time. So that was pretty cool seeing that. So that's all I got for baseball. But that was a big moment last night for all Yankee fans. So what I want to talk about today, we'll get into it pretty quick because it's a conversation that requires a lot of a sales rep. And I train many different many types of sales classes out there. But the one class I've trained probably close to 10,000 people is the prospecting class. And it's a 2-day class. It's not a 1-day class, like most of my others. The prospecting piece takes a lot of work. And if you take all sales reps in the country who are relieved of their jobs and put them in one stadium, 80% of those people at the end of the year, if you put them all in one stadium at the end of the year, 80% of those sales reps that were let go from their job was because they couldn't prospect. They couldn't get in front of new clients. And the other, Ed, what about the other 20%? Well, who knows? Maybe they're dogs, maybe they're stealing, who knows? But the 80% of the people that couldn't get in front of clients struggle with this prospecting piece. And you'd be surprised how many companies out there do not train prospecting. They just assume when they hire a sales rep that they have been trained on prospecting. Well, everybody assumes that, and it's amazing how many companies do not have any kind of prospecting training at their company. It's appalling, matter of fact. And it's probably one of the most important pieces. The companies take a lot of pride on the training they give their employees about the products that they sell. But if you can't get in front of customers, what good is all that knowledge about products? So today we'll talk a little bit about prospecting. Hopefully I could give you some things that could change your career right away. And if you want to know more information, please reach out to me at ed@fratzed, FRATZED.com. Shoot me an email if you'd like to get some training for your company or you want some private training. Let me know. I'll be glad to help, because this is an area that I've worked many years with sales reps on, and the ones who've mastered it, it's amazing. Usually those are the ones who have six-figure incomes. So it just that those two things go hand in hand. So if you could picture a wagon wheel, You have that hub, and then you got these 4 spokes. And each of these spokes are very important for that wagon wheel to stay strong. Well, I have 4 different spokes for prospecting. Now, the first one is all about the working the phones. And this is something that sales reps hate. A lot of them have telephobia, meaning the fear of using the phone to do business. And it's a legitimate fear. It's not something I just made up. But a lot of people, they hate working the phones. They don't know what to say. They stutter. They sort of lie to their manager that they're making calls and they're really checking emails, or they're calling their friends, or they're calling their current customers begging for additional business. And this is something that's been going on for a long time. And you'd be surprised, a lot of managers out there, they go tell their sales reps, go hit the phones, go make your 50 calls, go make your 100 calls, and don't forget to bring value on that call. And the sales rep goes, okay, boss, I'll go do it. And they'll make 50 calls or 100 calls. They won't leave voicemails, and if they do, they won't be powerful. And they don't bring any value to the call, even though they were told to bring value to the call. But the reason why they don't bring any value to the call is because nobody taught them what that means to bring value to the call. So as you could see, it can be pretty ugly cycle of going through sales reps of they didn't perform, get a new rep. They didn't perform. And it wasn't because they weren't good reps or good employees. They just couldn't get the prospecting piece down. They couldn't make appointments. They couldn't get in front of customers. And business owners are the same way. They know they need new clients to come into their business. They know that they have to sell a product and they got to get new business. And business owners, they struggle with the same thing. So the very first thing I teach is what to say on the telephone. Now, this talk track, I don't call it a script because a script sounds so much like telemarketing. We don't want you to come across like a telemarketer to make 100 calls and reading off a sheet of paper. A talk track is, I would call it a personal script. It's the words that you put together, and they're your words. I give you the ingredients to the cake. All right. I don't care if you make cupcakes, a sheet cake, a layer cake, or a bundt cake. All right. The ingredients to the cake is what you need. So I teach you what needs to be in your talk track. And based on those ingredients I give you, you will basically, if you just do the old telemarketing trick and make 100 calls, they are hoping for a 1% take rate. So you make 100 calls in 2.5 hours, you made 1 appointment. With this technique that I'm talking about, a well-constructed talk track, you probably could get your take rate for appointments somewhere between 8 to 12%. Huge difference than 1%. So you can make 3-4 appointments probably in an hour, at least 2. So, hey, Steve's World, thanks for joining. Mel, that train ride I watched today on your show was awesome. On one of your videos that you had uploaded. And just so you know, I have a 17-year-old son. And Disney brought back so many memories from the years I live in South Florida and went to Disney every year. And I have a pretty big kid. And carrying him on my shoulders throughout the hot days at Disney, boy, that train saved my day. And believe me, I that was probably one of the most peaceful train rides. I was looking forward to it every afternoon I was up there. So that was a pretty cool video. I tell people about Disney. I said, I dare you to go to Disney and just sit on a wall or a bench and see how many dads have a smile on their face. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm telling you, the moms are having a good time. They're running around with their kids, and you see poor dad with 2 diaper bags, 2 strollers, and sunburn. And he just doesn't look like he's having a blast. Well, believe me, the memories are etched in my head, and Yeah, dad is carrying everything, and plus a couple sodas and the popcorn and the toys that were bought. But that train ride would always help me out to get me through the rest of the day to get ready for Epcot the next day. But that brought back some awesome memories. I was so glad I found your channel today. I can't wait to see more of it. But back to prospecting, understanding and trying to get new business is you have to have a great talk track to be able to convince a customer to listen to you. When you're calling people on the phone, oh, you're welcome. When you're calling people on the phone, you're not trying to sell a product. You're trying to sell them an idea that they want to listen to you for a couple minutes, so you have enough time to convince them to have them invite you into your office. And by having a great talk track is vitally important for your success to tell a prospect on the phone. As I said, not telemarketing. You're not selling anything. You're just trying to set appointments. So, Ed, what's the ingredients? Well, we could do that on another show. Maybe I could do it this week. All right, because that's a separate show in itself. What to say on that, because you break it down in 4 different sections. But if you don't have a great talk track, you're going to struggle on the phones. And if you struggle on the phones, you're going to hate it and you won't set appointments. The second spoke on that wheel is networking. All right, and to find new clients out there, I truly believe that you need to be out in the community. You need to be in networking meetings. The most famous one is the BNI, Business Networking International. It's an hour-and-a-half meeting each week. If you join the local, every major city has probably 15, 20 BNI groups. The smaller cities might have half a dozen. But the BNI groups are anywhere from 20 to 50 people in a group. Exclusivity, that there's only one kind of business. It can't be two of something. And that you get to meet with these people each week. And these people will bring leads to the group and share these referrals for you to, and they'll pass them out at the end of around every week. Sometimes you might get a lead, sometimes you don't. It's not like you're guaranteed every week. The people who end up bringing the most end up receiving the most. It seems like so. It's you want to make sure that you're very productive on giving, because you'll receive probably more than what you gave. But being involved in a group like that, referral meetings are very powerful, because referrals set the appointment 65% of the time. That beats 8%. So I loved living in the referral world quite a bit. That was when I was selling on the street. That was probably one of my favorite things to do. But here's the problem with referral for networking events. They're not always 9 to 5. A lot of the events are after hours, business journal for chambers, and from 5 to 7 business journal from events. They're after 5 o'clock. People go, Ed, I wrap it up at 5. Then what the heck are you doing running a business or in sales? Because it's sales is not a 9 to 5 job if you're out there on B2B or if you're a business owner. So getting out there, meeting people, asking them what kind of referral that they need that would help their company, and then in return they'll ask you what an ideal referral is for you. And always be prepared for that. When they ask you what is the ideal referral for you, make sure you give them the criteria that you're looking for. What kind of level person in the company. You want to talk to the owner, CEO, director of finance. Make sure you give them the territory. Is it just in the county or is it nationwide? Give them the criteria to help them think through on what a referral for you that's going to match what your needs are. So the networking piece is vitally important, and the one piece, and what makes it so powerful, remember, 65% referral set up, you get the appointment. So just something to think about. It's the highest percentage technique you get. The third spoke on that wagon wheel is a necessity. And there are so many people refusing to do it because they just feel like that's not them. It's not their style. All right. Well, remember, you're looking for clients. You got to find the clients where they like to hang out. And today, clients love hanging out on social media. Perfect example is YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And people go, Ed, I'm not a Facebook kind of guy. Hey, listen, I'm not telling you to go on Facebook to post that you're eating a chicken sandwich down at Hardee's. All right. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using these sites to find clients, showing them how you bring value to corporations or businesses, small businesses. You need to find where they're hanging out. And right now, business decision makers are hanging out in social media. And if you don't believe in using social media, you're missing the boat. All right. So if you're on the end of the dock and you see this big boat going by and there's a whole bunch of people on it, those are your customers that have just sailed off with the competition. So if you're not a social media type of person, you are really leaving a lot of money on the table. It's something that I stress that you learn how to do. If you know someone that is an expert in social media, reach out to them. There are people on LinkedIn out there that do this for a living to help people and help business owners and salespeople to use social media. There's many people on YouTube that will give lessons on how to use social media to drive business. So that's something that it's a necessity in today's society. And if you're not that kind of person to use social media, the competition is real happy to hear that, just so you know, because they've just taken your customer. They've just taken your paycheck. Just to let you know. Yeah, it really is a must-have. Steve, the especially the people my age bracket, I'm on the older side for a lot of viewers sometimes. But if you're I started learning how to sell in the early 80s, and if I didn't change over the decades, I would not have been successful. Now I have over 35 years selling experience and a good 10 to about 13, 14 years of specific sales training for corporate sales companies. Hey, Adrian, I'm a corporate sales trainer. I own my own sales training company, Just Frat Sales Training. I've been doing it for about 10 years. I was a corporate sales trainer for Verizon Wireless for 3 years before that. Quite a bit of my business that I work with B2B salespeople and and a lot of leaders in the sales divisions for companies who bring me in to work with them. I also do a lot of one-on-one sales training for private, especially for companies that don't have sales trainers. So people reach out to me they hire me to give them some guidance. So my background as far as what specific product that I help people, what industry, to me, it doesn't matter. The sales skills are still the same. The product that you sell, it really doesn't matter to me. It pretty much is always the same on how to bring value, how to find out the customer's needs, and how those customer needs you'll match the right product from your company to the customer's needs. So I really don't have to have a lot of product knowledge to help people on what product they're selling. The sales skill piece, understanding a customer's needs, how to present a proposal presentation, all of those things are pretty much the same across any industry. So that today what we're talking about is social media. And if I didn't change my ways, it would be difficult for me to give credibility. Say, hey, use social media, but I don't use it. I train people to use social media, but I'm not going to do it. And I would lose a lot of credibility if I wasn't on YouTube, or if I wasn't on Instagram, or if I didn't have a Facebook page. Those are the things that you need to transition to. YouTube is pretty powerful. There's a lot of people out there that you can find a lot of clients on YouTube. just by uploading videos or doing live shows like this. So that would be the third piece of the wagon wheel. The first one was using the phones, prospecting the phone. Second is networking skills, getting out in the community. Yes, I better practice what I preach, or pretty much nobody would hire me. Hey, good luck at the softball game, and thank you so much for stopping by, Steve. It was great chatting with you. But yeah, but Adrian, practice what I preach is very important. Sometimes if there's a salesperson available and I'm going on an appointment that's meant for my company, I'll bring the salesperson along just to show them everything I've taught in the training class I actually use with my customer base. So, and I've done that a few times. And now the fourth piece to that spoke is actually the old-fashioned cold calling. Now, if you're a sales rep who calls on local businesses or a business owner locally, and basically just going in to meet owners of other companies and other decision makers of those companies, to introduce yourself, to let them know how you could help their company, to try to set an appointment with them. A lot of people feel very comfortable with this because it's not using the phone and they get to do it face to face. And now I live in South Florida. So the sales reps down here have changed the word of cold calling to hot knocking because it's hot outside. So I've seen some reps go through 2 or 3 shirts in a day down here in South Florida just because of the heat. But they get out there in the community, they're pulling doors, meeting business owners to try to set appointments for themselves in the upcoming week or so to meet with that person. They're not trying to sell someone door to door. That is not what we're looking to train people to do. We're trying to make people meet the other business owners and decision makers out there in their community. Then there's salespeople who go, Ed, I don't work locally. My clientele is around the country. I can't just go pulling doors and walking in on businesses. The product I sell is a specific software product in the medical field, and I have a very specific clientele, and I call people around the country. What can I do to substitute door pulling? That I would recommend it would be use the mail system. Now, you could use email, writing professional emails, or something that's worked for me in the past for myself and a lot of sales reps I've trained is to identify 5 or 10 companies that you're looking to get into and write a professional letter on who you are and how you've helped businesses, and use the FedEx envelope and send a FedEx envelope to them to introduce yourself. And first of all, everybody will read the letter. FedEx, nobody throws away a FedEx envelope as like it's junk mail. Everyone opens up the FedEx. So you're pretty much going to have 100% of the people that you send that to is going to read it. And you're going to get a very high take rate with that, because people are going to be impressed with you that they just spent $6-7 to send me a FedEx envelope to introduce themselves. And so that would be a substitute of that fourth spoke. If you don't pull doors, it's not that type of job that you have to go pull them locally. Your customers are around the country, CEOs that you're trying to get to meet with, or send them a FedEx envelope. And I keep saying FedEx. I haven't mentioned any other overnight carriers, the U.S. Post Office or UPS. The FedEx envelope is very powerful. The color of it, it just stands out, and it has a lot more, bam to it. So that would be the fourth spoke. All right. Now, on my next show, I'm going to talk about what do I say in these letters? What do I say on the phone? What do I say in networking meetings? Because that I was going to tie it into this show, but there's just too much. So the next show I'm going to do it tomorrow. All right. That'll be Thursday, May 2nd. And I will promise you, I will cover everything, what to say when you're networking, teleprospecting on the phone, pulling doors, or what did I put in that letter? And wait till you see how easy it is to do this. And wait till you see it, like you're going to say, wow, I can't believe I haven't been doing it all these years. So these are all the tools that I teach in all my training classes. When I teach a 2-day prospecting class, this is the stuff that I talk about. And so you're getting exactly, if you had me in front of the room for 2 days, you're going to get it right here on the YouTube channel. So tomorrow, I will do a show regarding what to say when you're calling for appointments, or what to say when you're at a networking event. So, Adrian, yep, I look forward to having you join. If you have any questions, always shoot me an email, or just leave it right here at the show, ed@frats.com. And hopefully I'll cover the questions that you have for tomorrow and bring as much value as I could. Instagram, I'm trying to become an expert on it. I'm far from an expert, but I am using it. And how I'm using it is, instead of taking pictures and posting pictures, Adrian, I'm doing the 1-minute video, and I do about 3 a week. You could find me at Fratz, Fratzed, and I do about 3 a week. And I pick a particular topic, and I do a 1-minute. It's called Just Fratzed, Just Saying. And it's and I probably have put up about 20 or 30 of them. So I've went the video way of using Instagram, and it's been very helpful for me. And I've noticed that a lot of businesses that use that video, people tend to be more interactive with that. So I believe the Instagram, like I said, I'm using the video portion of it, not just taking a snapshot of me in a training class. I don't think that would help me as much, but trying to bring a tip of the day type of thing has been very helpful. So that's how I'm recommending it to other business owners and salespeople out there. You might want to use the video portion of it, but one thing for sure is Instagram is hot right now, and it's being used by many businesses, and it's something that I truly believe everybody should do their best to wrap their arms around it and run with it, because it's done well for me, and I haven't been doing it that long. For the past several months, I've been doing it, and it's given me a lot of credibility, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me to talk more about sales training. So Instagram is definitely I would recommend it on everyone's to-do list. The business end of it, I strongly recommend using LinkedIn. There's a lot of business owners out there. Of the Fortune 500 companies, 499 CEOs of the Fortune 500 are on LinkedIn. So I don't know which one isn't, but to me, there's a lot of decision makers, and the LinkedIn search engine is very powerful. So you could put in a town and say, hey, I want to meet project managers and construction companies, and just put that in the search engine, and then it'll pull up all the project managers in that particular town that are in construction. So those two, Instagram and LinkedIn, it's a big push in my sales training classes for sales reps to wrap their arms around. And I strongly recommend it. That if you can't get in front of a sales trainer, just go to YouTube. They got so many tutorials out there to really maximize the use of those two things. So that wraps up my show today. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about what to say when you are prospecting. Thanks again. And remember, if you can, hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good evening. Oh, Winky. I'm just about to hit that red button, end stream. And you give all the sad emojis. Oh, Wink. I gotta go. It's after 6 o'clock, and I hope everything is okay. But I'm gonna be on again tomorrow. All right, about the same time. I'm gonna be on tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about what to say on how to get new business when you're out there in the community. But I really got to go. But thank you for hopping on last minute. But I've been on for about 30 minutes, and I would stay just for you if I didn't have to go pick my son up at the ball field. So I got to go, but I'll be back on. Watch the replay if you like, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.